I've struggled mentally in the past, and people who don't struggle with depression, they don't get it. There's like this voice in your head that tells you things constantly.
How do you dig yourself out of it?
I don't like talking about it. I don't speak to anyone. Like, I'll train, I'll try and carry on with normal life. I don't know if it's healthy the way I'm doing it.
No, I was just about to say, are you sweeping it under the carpet?
Probably.
What uncomfortable lesson have you learned?
I would say that trusting people when it comes to money can be very tricky.
If you were to do things differently with business again, would you?
No, because it wouldn't have led us to where we are now. You need to have systems in place. But at the end of the day, if it's your business, you are working hard. There's been a lot of couples we know that have gone into business with each other, and it doesn't work because you're clashing.
Building a business with your husband, what's harder, love or leadership? Farah Banks, welcome to the Blue Room.
Thank you for having me.
It's about time we got you on the show. I know we've been chatting for a little while and diaries just haven't kind of synced up. So, Girl in Fitness, you guys have a very well-known gym in Johannesburg. Do you just want to chat through who you are, where you come from, and kind of, your upbringing?
Yeah, sure. So basically, I'm a very closed book. I'm that friend that will ask you 100 questions about yourself and like not really, volunteer my own story. So
no.
this is a very big change for me to talk about myself. I'm usually on the other end of the interviews. So yeah, Combat basically started in 2021 during COVID. And it was myself and my husband, and we had a family member join us as a business partner, which, you learn the hard way that it's not always the best idea.
Yeah.
And 3 months down the line, stuff happened internally, and we had to basically move from the premises that we were renting. But then lockdown happened. We literally had to close up and put everything in storage. We were not even sure if we were going to open Combat again. At that point, we were like, let's see what's going to happen in terms of, the health and safety and everything else that was going on. So we found a space, reopened in July, and 5 years later, here we are.
And you and husband, where did you guys meet? How long you guys been together? Where did you guys grow up?
Oh, that's a funny story. So we actually met online.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we were both on Tinder,
Yeah.
and that's how we met. We've been together for like 10 years now.
Okay.
Married for 3 years. So it's been a long time that we've been through a lot together, So yeah, we both from Pretoria, and he has more of the fitness background. I come from a beauty background actually. So I was in somatology, got my international accreditations, and that's where I was at that point. Yeah.
Okay, so that's what you studied.
Yes.
Okay, nice. And not pursuing that anymore at all?
Not at all.
Not?
No, I'm actually in business with my dad.
Okay.
So yeah, I do that, and then I also do like the content and onboarding and stuff for Combat.
And then at Combat, you guys are very much, what's your focus? Is your focus the kickboxing, boxing side of things?
I would say that's the standard. You come to Combat because that's what you're gonna do. You're gonna do kickboxing. You're gonna do boxing. Your strength training, high rocks, that has started over the past year and a half, I would say. It wasn't what we started out with.
Okay.
So we like to focus on the kickboxing section of it. It's a very different type of workout. People don't actually understand it. When you think kickboxing, what do you actually see when you think of a gym that does kickboxing? So people have this misconception about it as well. But I mean, you have to come to our gym. It's a very bougie place, So
I've seen the pics. We actually haven't stopped by yet. So maybe on this trip, if we've got a little bit of time,
you have to.
must stop by. I'm a massive fan of boxing. I've always said to everybody, actually, like it's the one sport I wish I'd started really early, and I think it's the one sport that I probably would have been pretty good at. I like to think, but yeah, boxing's a different type of fitness. I think there's gym fit, there's running fit, and there's boxing fit, and they're vastly different. So we've seen both you and hubby on the fitness racing circles.
Yes,
I'm just
separately.
separately because yeah, you don't want to break up a happy home. May and I do it differently. We race together, and sometimes we don't. And then she races with our youngest, and I think she just swears at all of us. So we just take turns
Just be like, it's your turn. You got to
with
take
racing
it.
with her. Um, what do you prefer, and why? There's no right or wrong answer. And don't say the one because I'm here. Do you prefer racing high rocks or deadly?
I do prefer deadly, but
Why?
my reasoning is, look, I broke my ankle twice. You know,
Yeah.
I tore the ligaments in that foot twice. So the injuries are quite severe when I run.
So
You
it's a
know,
little bit more forgiving on the 400-meter track. There's a bit more
it's still
bounce on the
painful.
track. Yeah.
It's very painful. As you saw, I was walking on
Yeah.
the last race because I
I
couldn't
thought that
handle.
was because you're unfit.
No, I couldn't handle the pain
I'm
anymore. You
kidding.
know, so the running is very tough for me.
Yeah.
And as much you can do physio, you can take painkillers and all of that, but internally that is what's now happened to me, and that's the injuries that I sustained. So you know that's why it's harder to do a 1 kilometer every time. You know,
Yeah.
so the deadly is easier because it is only 400 meters. But even that, like I feel it, you know. And that day, it was so hot.
It was
I
hard.
burned so badly. Like it was really, the weather was not forgiving.
And are you racing at the upcoming one?
Yes.
Nice. Do you guys have quite a good turnout from the gym coming through?
Yes, we do. Very excited about it. And that's the one thing about, you know, being a gym owner. You have to compete. You have to show
Yeah.
up for your members. You know, Zandre's got that background. He's always been racing. He's always done CrossFit races and everything. But I've not, you know. I would prefer being in the gym, doing my kickboxing and strength training. I love the high rocks classes that we offer.
Yeah.
Whether I will actually do a high rocks race, I'm not fully sure.
Well,
Maybe if it's in Paris.
well, May, I say to May all the time, like, you know, even if, I mean, we raced very unfit last time, and I thought I was going to struggle, and she moaned a little bit more than I did. But like, it is our business at the end of the day, and I think it's very important to build that community. I've even popped through. I've never done CrossFit, but I pop up at a couple of CrossFit events. You know, just to it's your circles at the end of the day, and the people that ultimately pay our salaries are the people that support all of this. And it's a nice crossover between all of it. So you haven't done a High Rocks yet.
I have not. Listen, I've bought the tickets, right? Twice. And then I was just like, I'm not ready. Like, I'm also, I'm scared because I feel like there's a lot of pressure. You know, people are like, oh, okay, that's Farah, co owner of Combat. This was her time. Like, there's a lot of pressure on what your time is when it
Do you
comes to
feel
high
like there are
rocks.
more eyes on you?
Sorry?
Do you feel like there are more eyes on you at an event because of that?
Yes.
Yeah, we
I
we, we,
mean,
we get the same. May says to me all the time, like when she's not feeling it, she's like, "Oh, I don't want to do it because everyone's watching." And I always just say to like, you also got to remember there's racing for fun and there's racing competitively. Like I like to split up the two. I haven't been in any sort of form to race anything competitively for a while, but yeah, we haven't done the fastest times, but we've been out there, we've competed, and we've enjoyed it. I haven't done a deadly dozen for at least 6 months, actually.
are you going to join the. Not.
I'm busy. I'm busy, sort of training towards something in Abu Dhabi in early Feb, and then I've got two Harrocks events coming up. Got Glasgow, and
Oh,
then
nice.
hopefully Cape Town, and then potentially Helsinki in Finland.
Very
Potentially
nice.
with May, we're gonna do it together.
But it's so much more harder to get tickets. Like, I noticed when the Paris tickets went on sale, it was ridiculous. I don't know if you've tried to get London.
Some races go really quickly. Like
Yeah.
some races take time. I think find the new races or find the races that have gone from a single day to a double day. Um, but yeah, I think it's just nice seeing the growth and rise of fitness racing. Like at your guys' gym, has it added quite a lot of new members?
It has, but a lot of people do come to combat and they're like, okay, we want to do kickboxing. And
Yeah,
then we say, listen, the balance is so important. You cannot just do cardio.
yeah,
And yes, you do get conditioning. You get a lot of conditioning with kickboxing. But do a high rocks class, do the strength
yeah.
training
It lacks the
component. It
strength.
makes you stronger when you're punching, when you're kicking. You know, you feel that power. So we do say you need to do both for that balance. And that's why I think combat works so well, because we offer not just kickboxing, not just high rocks and strength training. You know, there's the combination of the two. We have so much more to offer you than just, okay, we're going to now high rocks classes.
So let's say any sort of combat or hitting a bag or kickboxing, whether it's at your gym, a Planet Fitness, whatever it may be, do you think it is physical aggression in a form of release, or do you think it's rather about regulation and some sort of discipline?
I think that will depend on the person. Like, I mean, sometimes it's so much fun punching that bag. And sometimes you have those days where you like, you feel you need to take all of that and you need to put it on something. And you come to the class and I see people walk in, people who would talk to me normally come in hi and they're just quiet. And I'm
Yeah.
like, no, I know.
Animal mode.
You've had
Do
that
you ever
day.
picture someone's face on the bag?
No.
Not.
Not really, no.
Oh, no.
I'm so focused on I like focus on Zandre, then I'd focus on my members, like making sure I'm always hyping up. Like even if I'm dying on the inside, I look at the person, I'm like, let's go. There's a thing that they make fun of me at the gym.
Yeah.
So all the members are like, when they see me, I'm always like, because like, why aren't you taking a heavier weight? Why are you stopping? So I'm always that person doing that. So I don't tend to, I focus on my training, yes, but I'm also very present for the members.
And from a mental health side and wellness side, do you train to look good? Are you training to clear your head? Because I'm assuming, especially with combat sports,
Yeah.
you're right, hitting the bag's the best thing to clear your head.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure May, when she hits the bag, she's pictured a face and it looks a lot like mine. But do you do it to clear the head?
I do, but both. Like I mean, I've struggled mentally in the past, and then I do have dips sometimes. Like there's been seasons that have shaped me into who I am, but I mean sometimes it gets tough and it gets lonely in there, and you have these voices in your head.
Yeah.
And people who don't struggle with depression, they don't get it, and I don't think they ever will. Like, oh, just don't think that way.
Yeah.
There's no such thing. It's you're not thinking that way because you want to.
Yeah.
There's like this voice in your head that tells you things constantly. I don't know. Have you ever struggled with mental health?
Oh, no, you're asking me questions. No, I have.
'Cause this is- I'm so
no, I
used to
have. I
this.
have, and I think that's why this is very close to mine and May's heart. But I think getting back to that, I think there's a big difference between sympathy and empathy. It's sometimes very easy to sympathize with someone, but very difficult to empathize. If you haven't gone through something, you don't know. I mean, I'll use an example: death, similar sort of thing. I remember when I was about 12 years old, my uncle passed away. And like I just carried on a couple of weeks later, like nothing had happened. But my cousins, I didn't give another thought to it because it didn't affect me.
As much as.
But when my dad passed away in my matric year, I actually didn't feel bad for me. I felt bad for how I'd treated them.
At that
Because it was the first time that I could actually empathize with what they had gone through when they were 12 years old. So I think it's the same thing with depression. You don't quite understand it. You don't know it until you've been there. I didn't think I was someone that would ever struggle with mental health or depression. But I feel like once you've had it once, it's always that ticking time bomb that you need to kind of manage.
There's triggers.
There's
stuff
triggers.
that happens, and it's like you don't even realize that's the trigger.
Well, I think anything like depression, it's not something that just it's usually gradual. I know with mine was very much self-inflicted. I was going through something, I just didn't talk to anybody, and I just basically dug myself into a hole. So it's then bouncing back. How do you bounce back from that? How do you dig yourself out of that? So like for me, the only way for me to dig myself out of this was to speak. But I dug myself into such a hole, I didn't think I could pick up the phone to a single person, which was the most ludicrous thing. I mean, I'm one of the most open, friendly people. I could have picked up the phone to plenty of people, and anyone would have listened. But I didn't feel like anyone would until I found my mom. So from your side, when you find yourself in that situation, how do you dig yourself out of it?
Well, my go-to is generally Sandre and my mom. And I would just tell them, like, this is what I'm feeling, and I don't know what to do. And it just switches. Like, I never really, I don't like talking about it. I don't speak to anyone like, this is what I'm thinking, this is what I'm feeling. They are aware I'm struggling right now. And it just eventually just goes. Like, I'll train, I'll try and carry on with normal life. I don't know if it's healthy the way I'm doing it,
No,
but
I was just about to say, are you sweeping it under the carpet?
probably, probably.
Because if you speak to your husband and you speak to your mom about it, do they understand what you're going through? Are they,
I think they try to the best of their ability. My mom, she was there when it happened to me the first time when I was like, I think I was about 19. And
yeah,
I was at home at that point. So, she was there actively seeing me go through that. And that was really bad. Last year, I hit rock bottom I have no idea what happened. And it just sort of went away gradually. I
yeah,
felt better, and I just said to myself, I need to, I need to now just be better. I
yeah.
need to focus on something else, and I actually started focusing on the Deadly Dozen race, and that's what maybe helped me get through it.
I think sometimes when you sweep things under the carpet, we're all, especially South Africans, don't do this, don't do that,
Yeah,
you're tough, carry on, whatever, walk it off. Invariably it hits you somewhere. So you saying like it just hit you, and there was no reason for it.
yeah.
There was a reason for it. It just was something probably from, or a
Probably
build
from the
up.
past, probably from my childhood, or I struggle with rejection.
Yeah.
So like if I have friends and they like distant from me, I'm like, well, but why? What did I do?
Yeah.
Because I always think that it's me, and
Do you overthink things?
all the time,
Okay, so that might not
all
be
the
that they're
time,
being distant. It
at
might just be
all.
you.
It might just be
Because
me.
I often get like that where you think, oh, no, maybe someone's got the shits with you, or what did I do? But then you also realize any friendship's a two-way street. You got to sometimes self-reflect and go like, shit, when was the last time I actually picked up the phone to them? Like, is it them being distant? Is it me? Or we just, as adults as well, you've got husbands and wives, a lot of people have kids, businesses. Life's tough and life is busy.
It's busy, yeah.
I've definitely neglected my friends in the last couple of years. The time that it's family, spending time with May, business. Like my friends, people I socialize with or see, when I say social, not going out with, it's via business because that is the only time that we get out and about. But we're all at different stages in our lives. I mean, some of us are trying to build part of our career. Some people are trying to start a family. Some people are getting married. We're all at different stages. But overthinking is,
It's bad. And then I would go to Sandra and I'd be like, listen, this is what happened. This is what I said. This is what this person said. And he's like, he's like very stable person.
yeah.
So he'll tell me how he sees it, and 99% of the time he's right. And then I'll be like, okay, yes, you're right, good, and then I'm fine. But if I don't check in with him, I will struggle the whole day and continuously
But
be in my
but
head.
that's why communication's key because otherwise you're just going round and round in your head. And as soon as you offload it, he can be a sounding
Yes,
board,
yes,
give you some sage advice, and it's up to you whether you take it or not. But it's your husband. You trust him. You
he's
trust
the
him.
sensible one though. So
Yeah. So, I mean, do you think when you slipped into depression before, however you got there, do you think it was from overthinking things, or was it trauma based? You don't have to delve into it, but
it was. I think it was the trauma like from my childhood that I
yeah,
was going through at that point. Um, at that stage, I don't think I was overthinking. There was a lot of like family stuff. The dynamics wasn't okay, and I think that's what led me to that point.
but do you think it just hits you later on in life?
It does. It hits me all the time. Like I'll feel it because the family is still that way.
Yeah.
Nothing has changed, and I mean it just gets worse because nothing is changing. So as you get older, things are evolving, but that just stays there.
But do you think it's something you can change, or is it something that you need to let go of?
I'm gonna have to let go, in
So it's
order
not
to
up to
be.
you.
No, it's not up to me. So I just have to either be okay with it and move on. And I think a lot of the people in my family they've done that already. It's just myself and my older sister that we still like, struggling with it. Yeah.
I get it. I think it's one of the hardest things, especially if it's your principles, it's your belief system, whatever it may be, and you struggle to let go of whatever it may be because you know, especially if you're sitting on the outside, you know wrong from right.
Yes.
Sometimes the people in the mix don't see,
They can't see it.
they can't see it.
And I'm just like, how, guys? Like,
And also, you know, being wrong or being right isn't the be all and end all.
Yeah.
So I think that's where a lot of issues come in, and a lot of things in life, whether it be business, friendships, relationships, marriages, whatever it may be. People are so hell bent on trying to be right in a situation.
and the thing is, it must come down to how you treat someone.
Yeah,
You know, that's what it comes down to. It doesn't matter if you, like, if I'm wrong in a situation, I'm wrong.
yeah,
I will say sorry. I hope you forgive me. And I will try and earn that forgiveness.
yeah.
But it comes down to how I treat you as a person. You know, so if you're treating someone badly and you think you're right because, I mean, that's not okay.
Well, for me, the biggest thing is, I mean, man, try to teach the boys all the time. Everyone always says, like, what do you most want? Like, I just want to teach them kindness. And like for me, I think, you know, whatever religion, denomination, anyone may be, like I think the one thing that every religion teaches or tries to teach is kindness. First and foremost, kindness and gratitude. So yeah, I think it's, but anyway, delving away from that for a seckie, let's get more into your family, your little node.
Okay.
What, are you a husband sounding board?
Sorry?
Are you your husband's sounding board?
Yes.
But you said he's the,
I can be like at times when he feels, especially when it comes to the business.
Yeah.
I've got more experience in business,
yeah,
and he's got more experience in the fitness side.
yeah.
You know,
So it blends nicely.
it does. It really does. Like we work so well together. I think if he had more business than me, we would have been clashing all the time.
Yeah.
But it works really well together. So yeah, I do often find myself giving him advice when it comes to that.
Yeah, I think, especially in business, especially, I mean, May and I are in the same situation as you guys, where you're together and you work together. So it's, how do you, well, firstly, I think it's nice to have different skill sets and not have the same skill sets.
Yes.
How do you guys balance where you switch off and on work versus your relationship? Because it's something we struggle,
don't.
we struggle with. Because May always says to me, we're always working. So
Or you're
that's,
talking about it.
yeah.
Yeah.
So we've taken a warehouse because we want to have that separation, because it's just always work, work, work. So someone that came on the show a while ago, and I asked him how he does, and he's telling me he has this oak tree at his estate. When he drives in, he decides he's going to, as much as he can, that's where he leaves work. So I've been trying. I think I've got a lot better at it. We'll have to ask the missus what she thinks. But it's about, I think there's a big difference between working hard and working smart. I think we've been working so hard, but 2026, we're going to work smart and we want to prioritize rest. Do you guys get a chance to rest as a couple?
No.
Not.
I'll be honest, no. Because, I mean, we've moved now to this new space. We're only there for a year now. And a lot has changed, like with the High Rocks, with
Yeah.
Deadly Dozen. We try to, that's our core right now, you know, getting the community to join in.
Yeah.
You know, it's all the time. If we're at home, we're talking about combat. We're talking about, oh, what's the workout going to be next week already? You know,
Yeah.
you need to plan. You need to talk about clients that are coming through, the onboarding, all of that. We've got a photo shoot next week. It's constantly. So we don't get time to like physically just switch off and be like, okay, unless we go on holiday, which we really tried to do. But December we closed for 2 weeks. I felt like that was a nice rest for Zandra. I was still working because
Yeah.
I work with my dad. So we were open throughout. And yeah, I mean, hopefully this year we'll travel again. And that will be the time we switch off.
I suppose when you're in that growth phase, which you're in, it's hard to, well, as an entrepreneur, to go, I'm going to take a break. Because if you're taking time off, no one's doing what needs to be done. And that's ultimately the position we find all of ourselves in as entrepreneurs. You take a day off, there's a day's worth of work that's...
It's just sitting there.
Yeah.
And I mean, he has to be so present for, you know, the members to coach constantly. And we don't have another coach. It's just Andre at this
Yeah.
point. We have had coaches before, but I mean, we want them to meet that standard.
Yeah.
And Zandre gets requested by the clients.
Yeah.
They'll ask, oh, is Zandre not doing this class? And I'm like, no, he is. Like, you're fine. And then you can see that, okay, they feel comfortable, they're happy that he's there.
Yeah.
So how do you switch it up? Get another trainer, trust that person with your business, not just it's something we're growing for us.
It's your baby.
Yeah. So it's difficult to just leave it then. Okay, let's go on holiday.
Yeah, I think we're in the same sort of transition phase now where we know we need to take on more people or assistants, but we don't quite want to let go
It's
or do it. I mean, May and I still drive the kit to every single race around the country, but driving something from Cape Town to Joburg, you're losing 2 days there, 2 days back per week that you shouldn't be doing. Someone else should be doing that. You should be arriving, executing, putting on the best race possible, and then going. But that's all kind of teething pains and teething issues. What does confidence feel like to you, and how do you get more of it?
Confidence. So I'm honestly, I feel like I'm a very confident person. Think because I struggled in high school a little bit, and eventually I was just like, no, like I know myself.
Yeah.
This is who I am. You either like me or you don't. And I just the kickboxing has helped as well quite a bit.
Is it empowering?
Definitely. And I'm not like I've never been someone that you can easily say something to, and I'll be like, oh, you hurt my feelings.
Yeah.
I'll be like, okay, thank you for telling me. I'll work on myself if I have to. If that's what you feel, I'll look into myself, and but I'm generally a very confident person.
Yeah, it's something I definitely want to get back into again. Well, in our new gym, we are putting up a boxing bag next week, which I'm very
Nice.
excited about. We've got some brand new gloves. They've been very new for about 4 or 5 months now. The last time I put on my old gloves, I hadn't used them for so long. I just hit the bag and the leather just splattered all over the place. Hadn't been used for a while. Being an entrepreneur is tough. What uncomfortable lesson have you learnt, or lessons?
Lessons.
There's lessons every day. Have you learnt as an entrepreneur?
You have to sometimes, take advice when you feel you're doing, you're doing something, and this is your vision.
Yeah.
And you don't necessarily want anyone else to give their input or their advice. That I struggle with. But I mean, I generally do turn to my dad. He's been in business for 35 years. So
He's made more mistakes. So
he
he's got
knows.
some good advice.
He knows. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I would go to him and say, listen, this is what happened. I don't always like what he says.
Yeah.
But that's for me, the hardest part is actually seeing this is what we did. We need to change it. We need to fix it, and take advice from people. Be more open to accepting that.
Yeah.
But then you do get people that want to give you advice when it comes to a gym. Oh, they wish, oh, I loved what you do. It's so nice. It must be so cool. Until you actually do it.
Yeah.
It's hard work. It's a lot of hard work. You mentioned just now working hard, working smart. You need to have systems in place. But at the end of the day, if it's your business, you are working hard.
Yeah.
Unless you're going to hire people to help you, you're going to work hard. It's a constant thing. To try and manage that is hard.
Yeah, it's. I mean, now that we've got our own equipment for races, rather than getting it sponsored or rented or whatever it may be, it's every race it's loading and then unloading at the race 3.5 tons, then loading, offloading, and a lot of the time you end up doing it by yourself. And December we decided, we took the warehouse space in November. You're there, putting in flooring, putting stuff up, building jump boxes, building cabinets, all that sort of stuff. So you never kind of rest, I suppose, as an entrepreneur. Are there any mistakes that you guys have made that have made you smarter, not smaller?
I would say that when we started, like I mentioned, we had a business partner.
Yeah.
It was someone close to Zandre at the time, and that was the biggest mistake. Because trusting people when it comes to money can be very tricky.
Yeah.
It's either you need to know, even if you know that person. That was the biggest thing. I don't think we'd ever let anyone else in. Now we know each other, we trust each other. We're solid. So that's one thing I will never do again. Even if we are looking to expand combat, I will not bring on an investor or
Rather do it the
anything.
hard way.
Yes.
Well, May and I have been back and forth with that as well. We've done it. We had a similar thing when I started with Deadly and got the rights for South Africa. Also, similar sort of issue with somebody. May jumped in and said, let's do this, let's do it our way. And we've done it the hard way. We've also, a lot of the times, gone, we can take on a financial partner to make life a lot easier. But the nice thing is we get to do this together. We get to win and lose together. And, you get to make decisions quickly.
Yeah.
You can literally just have a chat, cool, we're going to do this, and off you go and do it. You don't have to consult or jump through hoops. And, sometimes I think that's where we win compared to our competitors. Sometimes we can do things quick and easy where other fitness races and platforms take time. They're big, but they're slow.
There's a lot of red tape.
There is a lot of red tape and bureaucracy, and we don't have that. We're very lucky. The guy, the founder of Deadly Dozen Global, Jay, he gives us free rein. He allows us to do pretty much whatever we want because we've proven ourselves. And he allows us to make mistakes. I think mistakes in entrepreneurship are good. Luckily, we haven't made too many. But the nice thing is if we do something really well in South Africa, we roll it out globally and we give the guys the blueprint. So there's a lot of trust with that. So even though there's just two of us who aren't really alone in the process, but we are given free rein to do things our way. So you said about potentially expanding. Was that something is that in the plans? Is that the dream?
I would hope. It's only 5 years old, but we would like to definitely have, more gyms around the country. That would be the goal. But for now, the focus is so much on this facility and just trying to boost this one. Maybe in time we would like to do a combat standard. That's what we want to do. And maybe Cape Town, maybe Durban, but, all in time, hopefully.
So, building a business with your husband, what's harder, love or leadership?
Neither. Honestly, we say to each other, we don't actually, there's been a lot of couples we know that have, gone into business with each other. And it doesn't work because you're clashing. But, we work so well together at home.
So, building a business with your husband, what's harder, love or leadership?
Neither. Honestly, we say to each other, we don't actually, there's been a lot of couples we know that have, gone into business with each other. And it doesn't work because you're clashing. But, we work so well together at home, how we manage our home and our family, and how we manage as a couple at the gym. It just fits so well. I also think it's because he's very understanding, and he lets me do things my way.
He sounds like a very patient man. I think I've got a lot to learn from him.
Yeah.
Nate's probably nodding there behind the computer. I think May and I get it right 95% of the time. The other 5% of the time, I feel like I need to lock a bedroom door and sleep in another room, just in case, in case I die in my sleep. But no, it really works well for us, and it's so nice watching you guys do your thing. And we see you. I think you guys have come to every Deadly Dozen we've put on, whether you've been racing or not. And we tend to abuse you guys as you go around the course. I think
hopefully you don't say anything to me when I walk on the next race.
Well, that's why I think we're scared to come to your gym, because all of a sudden I think there'll be a little bit of retribution and
you know what?
And payback.
I love it. I see people. Sandra was racing now, High Rocks, and obviously I'm a spectator all the time at the High Rocks, but I know it so well. I've been doing it for years. I've said to him, you don't know how to spectate, because I've been going to his CrossFit competitions for years. So I know now how to do it properly.
Yeah.
If you're going to stick with me, you better run, because we make sure we get
station
content.
to station.
Yes, run.
You get a run lap.
Yes.
Then you get a station, run lap station.
And
you find a spot.
You need to evaluate, okay, that person is now here, which means you're going to line up on this row, for example. So I was spectating, and a person next to me was like, oh, don't you do High Rocks? And I was like, I've not done one yet, but, maybe. why not? And I'm like, I want to say, bro, do you do kickboxing? Like, you should come join me for a boxing session
Yeah.
because, like, that's my element, you know. And I love it when people in the High Rocks field they come to combat, and then I'm like, okay, this is my home turf
Your
now.
domain now.
Yes, now I'm going to show you.
I can see a kick or a punch that misses the bag and lands
You
square
have
on
to
the
come
temple.
now.
Kind of touched on this earlier. How do you separate partnership from someone when things get hard or tough?
Partnership.
Your guys' partnership.
Okay. So when it gets difficult in terms of like personally or at combat.
I think a little bit of both. Let's say there's an issue somewhere, maybe at combat or racing or whatever it may be. If it gets tough, I suppose he's so understanding, isn't he?
I swear, like people don't believe me. But if you get to know Zandre,
I want to marry him.
if you get to know him, he's very chilled and he trusts me a lot.
Yeah.
Especially when it comes to business. He will trust that I'm making the right decision. He'll tell me if he really thinks something's off, he'll be like, I don't think it's gonna work.
Yeah.
Like I'm on the floor, I'm coaching the people. And then I know that's my boundary. Like
So you guys do separate domains within it.
we do. Like I'll say to him, listen, like I'm in the classes. So I'm feeling like a client. So I will tell him, listen, this didn't really work so well.
Yeah.
And then he'll say, okay, I'll change it up. Let's do something else. Or create a workout that you're comfortable with. Let's see how that works. You know, and sometimes I create the workouts. But I mean, that's his domain. You know, when it comes to the marketing or content creation, I'll tell him, be ready. We're shooting at this time. This is what you're going to say. This is what you're going to do. He hates it. But I mean, he shows up. And I think that's why it works well because we do different things.
So you guys obviously, like you said earlier, don't have a lot of time for leave and stuff. You're always working.
Yeah.
How do you switch off? How, you know, when things get overwhelming, how do you take a step back?
I struggle a lot with that. I mean, I don't think I ever really switch off. Now in December, it was calmer, you know, where we had the 2 weeks. I was still working, yes, but it's not as pressurized. But like I would say when we home with our dogs, you know, and I love to game, so we PlayStation and whatever. But I mean, I think that's the only way. Or if, like I said, we go away. Otherwise, don't switch off. I would wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning and I'll be like, oh yes, I must remember this is what I have to do. That's what I have to do. I make a note quickly on my phone. I go back to sleep.
I always used to do that. I end up at one stage, I struggled to sleep, so I had a notebook. Get up the other night, wondering where May is, and she's standing at the dining table, right?
Writing stuff.
Right. So she doesn't do it often, but I was like, where has this woman gone? Because she hasn't come back to bed. She is busy writing notes at the dining room table. But I suppose you said gaming, so I think even something like gaming it's escapism, really. You know, some people like to read, some people like to draw, paint, game. Everyone's got something they like to do. People be amazed, but mine's gardening of all things, or cleaning. Like you'll find
Really?
me, ask me. Like I'm always cleaning or gardening. That's my sort of thing to just switch off.
Yeah. I do. I love painting, but then it takes so long that I get frustrated. You know, I'm standing at this canvas for 3 hours and painting something. And then in the end, I don't complete my paintings. I leave it halfway and I'm like, nah, it looks fine. And then I move on to
Interesting.
the
You don't
next.
complete your paintings.
I move on to the next
mental
one.
health point. Yeah, let's go for that. No, it's you know I think what it is we're so in tune with having to do things and do things quickly. Like time is money. Like
Yes.
you're enjoying it probably the first half, and then the second half you're like, shit, I should be doing X, Y, and Z, and then you don't end up finishing. But that's
And then it's Sunday night and then you
but
know
that's
it's
really
closed.
bad though, because you taking that time for you. You need to finish those paintings.
I have so many unfinished paintings at home. And then they eventually just look like, ugh, and then I just leave it. Then I start a new one. So that's something I maybe should work on.
I think so. I think hubby needs to get you painting. So once again, let's just go back. Like, what advice would you give to women entrepreneurs out there willing to take the jump into entrepreneurship with their partner?
You see, everyone's relationships is different. The dynamics is different. But you don't know that unless you test it, you know. So I would say you need to find that understanding. One person has to be a little more forgiving, a little more understanding than the other. Otherwise, it's not going to work.
Yeah.
You know, if you got two strong personalities coming into a partnership, it's definitely not going to work. There's going to be more arguments. There's going to be more, we're going to do it my way or that's it, you know. So someone needs to be a little
Luckily
more.
for me, I'm so submissive and calm.
Really?
Absolutely
Now I was
not.
like, just going to be like, no, don't talk crap.
Absolutely not. Like I'm like a bull in a china shop most of the time. Unlike you, I just don't have an off at all. Always working, complete workaholic, but getting better.
Yeah.
Getting better with learning to switch off. Like I said, this year is going to be working smart, not hard. We've
Let me
both.
know how that goes.
Yeah, I will. I'll definitely give some advice or write a book or something. Once I figure it out, I've been at this entrepreneurial thing probably for 13, 14 years now.
It's long and it takes a toll on your body.
It
You
does.
feel it.
I'm 23. I've had a hard life. No, it is. You know, the good times are great. The bad times are tough. And what's quite interesting is everyone that's been on the show that is an entrepreneur, a lot of people have had failed businesses, and that's also okay. You know, I said in one of the previous episodes, the average successful business that an entrepreneur has in the States is number 7. So that's pretty scary. And I'm very thankful to be exhausted from last year, because 2 years prior to that, I was working so hard, so many great management consults and stuff like that. And it was just a dog after a dog after a dog. And when you find something, A, that you're good at, and B, that you absolutely love, then you've got a winner. And it's not even about the financial implications of it. But if you're doing something you love, you're not actually working.
Yeah, I would say when you feel like I love waking up every day and doing what I'm doing, it doesn't feel like work.
Yeah.
But your body will still, you know, you can feel it.
I think that's why I can't wait to get back to the actual races, because obviously we've had a bit of a lull between our last race and now, and we have the same during, let's say, a 3-month winter break. But all the hard work that we do with Deadly Dozen, you know, you see it on race day. And yes, it's a very stressful time and day for us. Now it's going to be 2 stressful days. But we see people active. We see people struggling, smiling, laughing, sweating, crying, bleeding, whatever it may be. But you see humanity coming out, and people have trained for that day. And you know, just the excitement of people at the end, and people posing and posting with their patches and all the rest. And it makes what we do worthwhile. And at the end of last year, I mean, we did 8 races last year. We did 4 races in 6 weeks. We were tired
That's
after
insane.
that. But that's just how the year worked out, because we're so busy trying to balance calendars between other sporting events and all the rest, not to clash in areas. So yeah, like I said, we worked hard last year, not smart. I mean, we only started our first race in March last year. So we did 8 races last year. We've got 10 this year. But yeah, I'm sure we're going to see you guys at all of them.
Probably at all.
Hubby, I'm sure race Hyrox Cape Town.
Yeah, that's the
Are
plan.
you going to race it?
No.
I think you and May should hook up for a little race sometime.
And so she can shout at me.
No, you guys must shout at each other. We'll sit on the sideline laughing at you two, and you two can
Shame.
abuse each other around the course.
Shame. But she looks very timid for me.
Oof.
Really?
Yeah,
Not.
yeah. She even swears at our 6-year-old.
Well, I mean, it's tough love.
No, it's just because he runs away from her when the crowd cheers. She'll like run with him, and then he just cruises off. No, but they make a great racing team. I've very much. If he could do Hyrox, I wouldn't have a race partner, put it that way. So, in closing, I just want to ask, you know, if you were to do things differently with business again, would you?
No. I wouldn't do anything differently. Because it wouldn't have led us to where we are now, you know. I mean, yeah, there's been mistakes that I wish I didn't make. When we started combat, that combat was just pure kickboxing. At that point, we should have had, from the get go, your kickboxing and your strength training classes.
Yeah.
But I mean, financially, you know how much the equipment costs. To be able to get all the weights to make sure your group class of 20 people have variety to choose from, because
Yeah.
it's all different fitness levels. Someone that's comfortable with the 7 kg dumbbell, someone else that wants a 15 or 17.5. You
Yeah.
need to have that weights. So the one thing that I wish we'd done from the start was have the kickboxing and the strength training components. It was merged in the class, but it wasn't like, barbells and dumbbells, and it was very light conditioning.
And you could have planned the flow from the start rather. It's I take my hats off to you guys. Programming is incredibly hard. I mean, I've done a lot of coaching in my spare time when Hyrox first came, and to balance an existing gym versus the amount of footfall coming through the door, keep them moving and use the space. It's a balancing act. It's not always to say this is the best way you'd like to set up a workout. There's a lot of compromise that goes into it. So yeah, I can completely understand that. So Farah, thank you so much for coming on the show. We're out of time already.
It was so quick. Time flies.
So quick. And you almost opened up.
Maybe a little.
You did. So thank you for coming on the show, and we will see you soon at Dirty Dozen.
Yes, 2 weeks.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.